Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mountain Standard True Crime. I'm your host, Michelle Carlson. Thank you for watching and/or listening. This episode is an update on the tragic disappearance of Matthew Johnson, a Utah National Guardsman missing since the fall of 2024. Although his body has still not been found, his wife, Jennifer Gledhill, has been charged with his murder. She had a detention hearing on Friday, February 28th, where damning new evidence was presented and she was again denied bail. We'll cover the hearing in detail in this episode. We brought you our initial episode on this case on January 9th, 2025. I highly recommend that you watch that episode before continuing with this case update so that you don't miss any of the information or details. And make sure you watch this episode until the end. There are a couple of bombshells. Warning, this episode might be disturbing to some and is not appropriate for children. All information shared by us is either from publicly available sources and/or official records requests. Our views and opinions about cases on our vodcast are strictly that and are not meant to be interpreted as facts. Prior to Salt Lake County District Attorney Emily Paulos began her argument as to why Jennifer Gledhill should remain held without bail, the mother of three and alleged murderer of their father was chatting casually with her defense attorney, Jeremy Deuce. I didn't notice this the first time I watched the video of the hearing, but in the still shot that I took, it looks an awful lot like flirting between them to me. In this hearing, the state requested that Jennifer Gledhill continue to be held without bail due to the significant evidence that she murdered Matthew and because there has been absolutely zero activity to show he is alive. No sightings, no bank record activity, no phone activity, nothing. The state reviewed the confession that Jennifer gave to a confidential informant with whom she had been having an affair, including that she had shot Matthew in the master bedroom as he slept after an argument between the two, that she smashed his cell phone and stashed his truck in a nearby neighborhood. She also confessed to the informant that she loaded his body into a vehicle rooftop storage container, slid him down the stairs, and loaded him into the back of her minivan. Her confession included that she drove her husband's body north of Salt Lake City, Utah, and buried him in a shallow grave. State's Exhibit 1 is a Google Maps view of Jennifer's phone activity starting at their home on the early morning of September 21st, 2024, and ending at the exact location where Matthew's truck, Exhibit 2, was found on September 30th. I'm actually kind of surprised it took them that long to find the truck, as it was found fairly close to their home. According to the state, during the search of the Johnson-Gledhill residence, after Matthew had been reported missing by the Utah National Guard, police observed a new mattress on the master bedroom bed. The house smelled of bleach. There were white marks on the wall behind the bed in the master bedroom as if it had been wiped clean. There was blood underneath the bed and in the slats of wood underneath the mattress. Exhibit 3 is a cutout of the blood-stained rug from underneath the bed, and the stain was found under the position of where Matthew's head would have been, where he normally slept on the bed. The state also has video evidence of Matthew and Jennifer arguing in that bedroom that night. Exhibit 4 is a photo of Blue Star imaging showing positive glowing for human blood on the rug, and DNA evidence has confirmed that the blood is positively that of Matthew. State's Exhibit 5 is a photo of Blue Star imaging glowing positive for human blood on the wooden slats of the bed. State's Exhibit 6 is mapping of Gledhill's phone on September 22nd, showing her driving from the Johnson-Gledhill home in Cottonwood Heights to north of Kaysville City. Her phone was turned off for 2.5 hours that day, and businesses on that route had recorded video of her in the area. State's Exhibit 7 is new evidence. The rooftop storage container which was discovered after a storm with the help of local military. Investigators think it floated from its origin due to the storm. State's Exhibit 8 is a photo of the recovered storage container showing that it had duct tape around it. Exhibit 9 is a photo recovered from Jennifer Gledhill's phone of an identical container outside on the Johnson Gledhill property near where her minivan was parked at the time. Exhibit 10 is a photo confirming that both containers have the same model and logo. State's Exhibit 11 is a photo of Blue Star Imaging showing that it's glowing positive for blood inside of the container that DNA has confirmed as that of Matthew Johnson. Exhibit 12 is evidence that was recovered from an area in northern Utah where GPS had tracked Gledhill as being at. The evidence recovered included the foam mattress from the couple's bed and bed pillows rolled up in a rug from the home. Exhibit 13 is the same evidence as Exhibit 12, with the rug unrolled. Exhibit 14 is a photo of the master bedroom from body cam footage from just a month prior to the murder. Remember from our first episode, Johnson and Gledhill were known to the local police because the police had responded to domestic disturbance calls at the home. The photo shows a foam mattress and bed pillows believed to be the recovered evidence in Exhibits 12 and 13. Exhibit 15 is the rug that was wrapped around the foam mattress and pillows that were recovered. It's just unobstructed in this view. And the final exhibit, 16, is a screenshot of a 2023 photo from Gledhill's phone that shows Matthew relaxing on a sofa in a room with the same rug that has been recovered on the floor of the room. Throughout the hearing, even with the presentation of the new damning evidence, Jennifer Gledhill remained emotionless. The state shared parts of a conversation between Gledhill and her former lover, turned confidential informant, that he had recorded. In this recording, Gledhill apologizes to him for telling him what had happened and asks him to not think of her as a monster and to remember her for who she was before she opened her mouth. The informant told her that he was, quote, frightened by what she had told him. The informant then asked her, quote, hypothetically, if the roles were reversed and I did something to someone and I told you that I carried it out, like you would be shocked and scared, wouldn't you? End quote. And Gledhill responds, quote, well, not if I deserved it. I always preached that I was like the Queen of Hearts in my past lives because I was like, off with their heads. I'm like, if we could just round up the scum of this earth and put them on an island and just kill them all, I could ship-shape this country back into a good place. End quote. She then goes on to claim that this is just a hypothetical situation and tells the informant, quote, I think that the fact that you got like scared of me, it broke my heart because I was like, wow, if you think that I could even hurt a fly, like he's not a person. He wasn't a person anymore. He wasn't Matt anymore. End quote. The state highlights that during this phone conversation, Matt had not been reported missing yet, and Gledhill was referring to him in the past tense when she said he wasn't a person anymore. He wasn't Matt anymore. The state went on to argue that Gledhill presented a danger to the community and to the integrity of the ongoing investigation, as she had already obstructed justice by disposing of the evidence that she did before she was arrested. The gun that they have video of her handling and that matched the description of the gun she showed the informant still has not been found, nor has Matthew's body or the mattress that he was lying on when she shot him. The state reminded the court that Gledhill is a flight risk, as she had told the informant that she would kill herself before she went to jail, or she would flee the state with her children. D.A. Paulos shared a letter that had previously been written to the judge by Matthew Johnson's family, pleading with him not to release Gledhill. The letter stated their belief that she has and would continue to tamper with evidence, that if she could kill the father of her children without remorse, that she could possibly kill her children, and that the informant's life would be in danger. They would also have to live in fear if she were released. The state asked the judge not to release Gledhill on bail. Defense attorney Jeremy Deuce argued that the state had not met the requirement of proving substantial evidence to require Gledhill to continue to be held without bail, because there is a lack of a body and lack of a murder weapon, and the defense stated that Matthew, quote, is a highly trained Special Forces officer with several tours of combat under his belt and is equipped with abilities your standard citizen simply does not have. These abilities and experiences give multiple explanations and possibilities that have nothing to do with Miss Gledhill as it relates to his disappearance, end quote. So to me, it sounds like the defense is alleging that he just kind of pulled the disappearing act. I don't know. The defense went on to argue that the court had an opportunity to see what the storage container looked like, and that, are you ready for this? This is bombshell number 1. Quote, the possibility of Miss Gledhill being able to fit a full-grown man inside that container, to me, seems difficult and limited, and I do think it cuts against their argument of substantial evidence. Now, in our initial episode of this case, I raised the point that there is no way Jennifer Gledhill could have lifted a container with him inside of it into her minivan by herself. She could have probably pushed it out of the minivan by herself and then possibly drug it or kicked it to another location, but she would have definitely had to have had help lifting it into the minivan if his entire body was in there. So with that, we have to consider the option that maybe his body was not fully intact in the container, or that it was put in the container in one piece before it was slid down the hill and put in the minivan. I don't know. There's a couple of different options there. I have heard rumblings that this is the case, which is just a horrible thought. And for his family, friends, and especially his children, I sure hope that that is not the case. The defense stated that there was very little DNA found in the storage container, and that in regards to the mattress topper, bed pillows, and rug, he has yet to have been provided with DNA evidence. And here's bombshell number 2 that I caught. Listen very carefully.
It also found a rug, foam mattress topper, and a pillow. What hasn't been provided to me and what I didn't hear the state talk about today is on this mattress topper and on these pillows where this alleged murder is said to have happened, I have yet to see any sort of confirming DNA or blood evidence as it relates to those. And it's the same thing with the rug. So even though those things are confirming of potentially someone, potentially Miss Gledhill, disposing of those things, it's not really on its face evidence of the murder, of the alleged murder. As it relates...
Did you catch it? The defense attorney just said, quote, it's not really on the face evidence of the murder. Of the murder. And then he corrected himself by saying, of the alleged murder. I think that's very interesting and possibly telling about what he thinks. The judge did ultimately rule that the state had met their burden of substantial evidence for the no bail hold to remain in place, as Jennifer Gledhill remains a substantial danger to the informant as well as to the community, and therefore her bail was denied. Her pre-trial conference is scheduled for March 14th at 1 p.m. Our hearts go out to Jennifer and Matthew's children and Matthew's friends and family. We hope that their father's body is recovered and that it will help bring them some peace of mind. We'll keep you informed of any updates in this sad and tragic case. As always, thanks for watching and/or listening. Please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. It's free and helps us out a lot. You can also follow us on Spotify, and please share. There are true crime fans everywhere. Until next time, please be aware of your surroundings, stay safe, and take care.